I'm here with psychologist Ian Wallace, who's going to be talking to us about learning difficulties. Thank you for joining us.
Great to be in again, Marlia.
Thank you. Now, what are the sorts of, or different sorts of learning difficulties out there?
There is a multitude, and most people think of learning difficulties just like dyslexia, I can't read, but in fact there's a lot. There's like language-based difficulties, there's motor difficulties, kids that can't write, there's social skill difficulties. There's really a broad range of learning difficulties. And it's really, what is a learning difficulty, I guess is the question.
Absolutely. And how can parents detect a learning difficulty, or teachers even?
Yeah, what it really means is there's an imbalance between the kid's potential and where they're achieving at in a very specific field. So they might be really bright verbally, but they can't actually get their thoughts down on paper. Or you might get a kid who's really artistic and great at maths and science, but he just can't read or can't comprehend as he's going along. So what we're really looking for is a big splintering in skills that says good at some things but underachieving against the potential in others.
And so it's really school-age children when you can start to detect this?
You can pick some up very early. Some kids you see signs very early, like they're not crawling early, they don't walk well early, and you know they're going to have motor difficulties. Or some kids have a speech problem early, they're not articulating well, they find it hard to find their words. Lots of signs that kid may have a speech or a language problem early. And it's a great question because early intervention works. So we've got to be really careful to get kids in early program. They're not going to grow out of this. Lots of bad advice out there like, oh, just wait, he'll come over it soon. Much better if you think there's a problem. They're probably just go and get it assessed and find some early intervention.
So that's the best step parents can take. What else can they do to help once they detect that something's not quite right?
Important thing is to get a professional assessment first. There's good people like educational psychologists or psychologist counsellors in school who can assess, or there's specialists like speech pathologists, occupational therapists who specialise in those areas, and they will tell you what your kid's problems are. That should lead to a remedial program too, because a diagnosis is useless unless it says this is what you now need to do. These are the type of exercises to engage in. This is the type of intervention that will work, rather than some broad sort of, hopefully something you'll get better.
Exactly, because each kid's different too, of course.
Yeah, and that's an important thing in learning difficulties. Learning difficulties are very unique. Every kid with learning difficulty has quite unique problems, and therefore they need quite a unique management plan to get out of that. We don't teach kids with writing problems language skills, or a kid with social problems needs a social skills program to help them communicate in the playground. They don't need to be doing work to develop their motor skills.
How can parents work with teachers if they suspect there is a learning difficulty in a child?
Yeah, really important to collaborate with teachers, because teachers know your child as well. So if you talk about what you're concerned about, find out what the teacher's concerned about as well. They'll often match up and then seek what support. Teachers tend to know what resources are available, and they can help you get to the right sort of people who's well versed in that area, who's well respected in that area. And then once you start collaborating with the teacher, the kid starts to thrive, because we're a kind of a team behind him, supporting him or her then to overcome the problem.
And you get the consistency too, you get it at school and at home.
Yeah, because it should be the same. If you get, mum's out there doing this and the teacher's over there doing this, kid gets confused what's going on. So it's really important to collaborate with everyone, professionals, teachers and parents, all be on the same page.
Fantastic. Thank you for your advice, Ian.
Pleasure, Marlia.
Now, for any more information on what Ian's been talking to us about today, visit kidslife.com.au.